Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Aurélie Baranger, and I'm the Director of Autism Europe, and I'm very happy to welcome you today for our conference on supporting access to lifelong education and training for autistic learners through digital learning. And today I'm really delighted to be joined by Mr. Lefebvre, the President of the Permanent Group on Disability Rights at the Economic and Social Committee, and I will give you the floor, Mr. Lefebvre, so that you can present the important work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will make an informal speech because this is just an introduction. I know that you have a lot of work to do, so I will not take so much time. So this committee is the land of the civil society. So that's the reason why you are there, and we receive along the year several organizations like you that are working on disability rights and I mean how to make things better for disabled people. We have in this house we have a representation of employers, of workers, and of diversity. Diversity is the brand name of the third group, and there you can find people for youth, representing the youth, representing the disability, and we have created a permanent study group with 12 people. Most of them have something disable. They almost all are managing a disability organization inside their own country, so they have very good knowledge about the problem. And we make audits in Europe to take the good and the bad practice. We are also working with the European Disability Forum, and we try to make some lobbying with the European Commission and of course the European Parliament to focus on disability rights. Of course, the application of the ECOSOC the United Nations Convention on Disability People of 2006, and we try to make the program of the European Commission better. What I can just add is that well, you are making a great job because most of the time people focus on visible disability. And when you see, I mean, publication, I mean, like this, where it's a problem for most of the people to check. I mean, maybe in the front of the camera to read, because everything is confused and not easy to read by people that have these disabilities. And last thing I could add is that I'm personally well, in France we have something special when you write a sentence. We used to put under brackets the E for when you talk about men and women, and some people they call it inclusive, but it is not inclusive. They make since five or more years to put dots among the words. So you can imagine that everyone is lost, and of course all the automatic machines that are used to manage the readings for disabled people, they are completely lost with that kind of thing. So we have a lot of things to. Last thing I wanted to say also is that we under the main point that we recommend to the European Commission is that all the people, I mean, since the school, all the teacher at the university, in the high schools, in all the people who have to make, to produce, to define manufactured products, and also softwares, platform, I mean, websites and application, they must take into account the disability and the problem of disabled people, and that's not completely the case. And last thing is just to tell you that we have a very good impression, very nice surprise to see the new European Commissioner, Madame Labib. She's in charge of equality rights, and she's completely focused on disability. And same for the Vice President, under the President of the European Parliament. They want to go strongly on this way. So those are very good news for us. We have an intergroup of members of the Parliament that are managing things, and for us it's a very good point for it. I will stop there. Good luck and congratulations for all the work you have done, and I give you in the right sense to end this final conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much again. Thank you to the Economic and Social Committee for hosting us today. So welcome everyone, be it in the room or online. We have a lot of people joining us online as well. So today we will indeed discuss about the rights of persons with disabilities, in particular autistic people. You mentioned the UN CRPD, the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Article 24 provides that state parties shall ensure an inclusive education system at all levels of education, including lifelong learning. And that's really at the core also of our project, because we see that despite the convention, there's still a need for a cultural shift when it comes to access to education for autistic people. We need more progress to meet their needs at all levels of education, and more resources and more training on autism. When it comes in particular to digital learning, the COVID pandemic and the lockdowns have highlighted the difficulties to access digital technologies for autistic people, and in particular for persons with intellectual disabilities. While some users have been able to benefit from online learning, from training and care and online assistance, those without the digital literacy and without enough access have been deprived from access to education and support at that time. So that was really the focus of the IDEAL project, to bridge this digital gap and to enhance access to vocational education and training online. So over 3 years, we've had a wonderful partnership from Spain, Belgium, Portugal, Serbia, and Czechia, and they've developed an accessible learning management system and a comprehensive digital training and methodology. So today we will discover these tools that can empower autistic people, in particular those with higher support needs and additional learning disabilities, their families and educators, and in order to promote inclusion and digital readiness for all. So I'm now delighted to call to the floor our first panel, and thank you again, Mr. Lefebvre. So I will call Miguel and Sandra to join us to introduce us the IDEAL project. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for attending us. And also, I want to thank Aoife and Aurélie for all the work that they did with us. We are delighted to be here to present our project that we working on during the last 36 months. Well, it was a little bit struggle because these kind of projects usually have a lot of things engaging and involved, but right now we can see that we have some interesting results for you and also for the rest of the community related to autism spectrum or not. Well, our work is called IDEAL Project. You can see why, and it is because when we are working for autistic people, we are working for the rest of the population also. So the IDEAL name can take that idea that maybe we can make a better world with working when it comes to work for autism also. The project is called, in reality, Inclusive Digital Education for Autistic People Learning. It was developed during 36 months from 28th of February 2022 to the next 27th, 2025. And we were 5 countries involved, that is Spain, Portugal, Serbia, Czech Republic, and Belgium. So the funding for this project was really generous. We were absolutely delighted with that. And it was almost 400,000 euros. When we will try to be fair with this amount, because we understood that it was a very, very confident point for us from the European Commission, so we try to do our best in every moment. Well, here you can see all the partners of the consortium. We have Universidad de Burgos from Spain, also Fundación Miradas and Carnes from Spain too, Tadi Tumanrat from Czech Republic, the Federação Portuguesa de Autismo in Portugal, with Stanza Foundations from Serbia. Sorry for I cannot pronounce Serbian, and the Autism Europe, that is the partner from here, from the host city today. And well, one of the most important partners here, because they are always related to the dissemination and communication. That is one of the priorities for the European Commission, of course. We're going to talk slightly about the activities and tasks, just to give you an impression of how was the work that we followed during these months. So the objective was, as Aurélie mentioned, try to adequate everything in a digital format for autistic learning process. We could see during the pandemic that not only did they suffer as common citizens, but also they suffer like autistic people. And we tried to close that kind of gap in case that we can have to repeat any other pandemic, hopefully not. But there are some other reasons why we were encouraged to participate in this project. That is, for example, living in different rural areas, long convalescence, or any other kinds of isolation in autism. So we have two results, especially the first one is maybe the most important, and it is what we are going to present today. That is the platform with different applications for facilitating the learning process of autistic people in an online mode. And the result two is the tutorials and the methodology to work with the platform. Yeah, here you can see the activities related to the result one. So we are not going to waste your time, but you can see that the first one is to try to design and to detect all the needs in these special circumstances. And then we had to develop all the methodology and also a very good repository about applications in 5 languages all around the world. Once we have that, of course, we need to validate and to assess the quality of everything. And we have our final version ready to be published and ready for being also used for all citizens, not just in Europe, also in the rest of the world, because we are included some vast languages like Portuguese, for example, English or Spanish. So we can address also those kind of needs in South America or Africa. I just want to highlight these activities about related to searching and developing a criteria, because those activities stem some knowledge that can be used for the rest of people that are working in with autistic people. So the rest of the activities are more specific for the project, but these ones is perfectly transferable to any people who want to work with autism in a learning mode, especially in online mode. And also it can be quite nice for the other collectives or target groups like intellectual disability. The result two, that is mostly the methodology with video tutorials and also documents that specify specifically how to use the platform, started with the design of the guide format, and then we had to designing different training guides according to the target groups that we wanted to address. Those are autistic people, families, and also professionals. And of course, as it is usual with this kind of results, we had to finish with the validation, the assessment of quality, and the final version. Well, about the meetings that we hold during these 36 months, specifically the on-site meetings was really, really interesting. And this is something that we are going to defend strongly, because those are the moment to boost the energy of the program. So they are very, very valuable for the projects. And here you can see that we distribute all around Europe, starting by Burgos in 2022. 2023 was for Lisbon. In April, they came again to Burgos, starting with the result 2. And in the final transnational project meeting is what we are enjoying right now, and that's why we can count on most of the collaborators of the project that are here on my left and in my front. So because it's not usual to attend this kind of conference, so we wanted also to highlight the distribution of the tasks to be able to be here today with you. Here we have different pictures that maybe is the most amusing moment. You can see all people smiling and trying to do their best for the project. This is from the kickoff meeting in Burgos. We got older with this project also, you can see here. But it was pretty nice because from the beginning we had a very good feeling and people were very, very, very competent with the project and also with autism field. Yeah, here we can see that was the meeting in Lisbon where we started to work on the platform. So pretty nice also. We were really welcome there. So it was an amazing experience. And then we have again Burgos. This is one of the main buildings in the university. So you are going to be invited if you want to come. This is one of the best places for working and also for disseminating your projects if needed. More people, more pictures. Here we have in the online meetings, it is always supposed that we are going to have just 3, 4, 5 online meetings, and it is ended up being just 16 or 17 meetings, but it of course reflects the commitment of the project and how everything must be in order every single month of the project. And here we can see some pictures from one of the best activities that we got during the project. We could move 12 people with autism to Burgos from different regions in Europe. So it was very challenging for them because they had to reach Burgos at first, and then they were really, really committed to validate the platform. So this was 5 days, 5 amazing days for us also. And everything went absolutely great. And we could get a lot of information from them who are the starting people of this project. So it was something really, really rewarding for us, for all the project consortium. And also a final picture with all the groups. So that's all. I don't know if we have some time for questions or maybe later on. So thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, Miguel. Perfect. That was a quick overview, but maybe at the end of the panel, we can have indeed a little bit of a Q&A if there's any questions to the speakers. So now I will give the floor to Sandra from the Portuguese Federation of Autism.
Good afternoon. I'm here to explain a little better how the platform was developed and to answer the question how to successfully address the needs of autistic people in digital education. To develop these results, the project followed a co-creation and inclusive approach, ensuring that autistic people, the families, and all the professionals were actively involved in the design, develop, and validation of the digital education tools. How do we manage to do this? With assessment of needs and the definition of the framework through questionnaires and a focus group. Also, you have the platform develop and testing and the validation. Regarding the questionnaires, a large-scale survey was conducted to gather information on technology use, accessibility needs, and learning barriers. This was developed in all the partners countries: Spain, France, Portugal, Serbia, and Czech Republic. So in the total, we managed to have 452 responses. The key areas of this questionnaire was how they use technology by autistic people, the preferred devices and apps for learning, accessibility challenge and potential solutions, and needs for digital education tools. The focus group was conducted to gather information also on technology use, accessibility needs, and learning barriers. To develop these focus groups, there was a criteria. For example, for people with autism, they have to have sufficient verbal skills to explain their own experience with technology. They need to explain the needs, challenge, what they need to use the technology. There was a need of a representation by male and female, and there was a different background, but this is a criteria that was used in all the groups: the people with autism, families, caregivers, and professionals. For families and caregivers, they have to be parents of people with autism with different ages and gender, and also with different backgrounds. For professionals with different jobs, it means that they have to have a different education background, male and female representation, different background and with more and less experience. So we have different experience of these professionals who work with people with autism. So we managed to have 9 focus group with 20 family members, 11 autistic people, and 23 professionals in total. With the results, we could see that technology can be a great support, but specialized apps are rarely used in all the contexts. Tablets were the most preferred device, limit independence use of technology among autistic individuals, mostly for entertainment, not with educational purpose. Customize and accessibility were considered essential. Regarding disagreements, mixed opinions on whether mobile phones were intuitive or too complex. Professionals saw value in the autism-specific apps, while families and autistic people focus more on general-purpose apps. Some solutions were presented, like universal design for social networks, customized apps with different difficulty levels, and screen time management tools. Regarding the assessment of needs and the framework, the key results and insights were, for example, the most commonly used devices were tablets, followed by mobile phones. The most used platforms was YouTube and Google search, and low usage on autistic-specific apps. Regarding accessibility and usability preference, the platform should have a simple interface with clear navigation. It needs to be easy to customize, like colors, fonts, difficult levels. Needs to support different user profiles, like professionals, families, and autistic individuals. And needs to include assistive features, like pictograms, social scripts, learning supports. For recommendations for digital education tools, there has to be universal design principles for inclusivity, great availability of education. Not what this means is not only digital research for recreational, but also in the educational level. Accessibility features such as speech to text, visual supports, and structured learning paths. So regarding the platform development and testing, the platform was developed and tested in 3 phases. The first one, like Miguel already explained, with the cognitive and the usability adaptation, ensuring the simplicity, the clarity, and the stability, testing navigability and if it was user-friendly. The second part was the app repository, sorry, identifying and evaluation of digital tools, building the database with all the apps that is now available in the Ideal Connect platform. And the last phase, the pilot testing, the learning activity that was developed in Burgos with 25 participants. So for the validation process of Ideal platform, the objective was to ensure that the platform is accessible, user-friendly, and effective for autistic individuals and families and professionals to use it. So once again, the key criteria for validation is if it's easy to use, if it's adaptable, if the content is relevant, and the cognitive accessibility. So for the validation, like I said before, we have the pilot testing and evaluation with 25 participants, 9 autistic students, 8 families members, and 8 professionals. In a large-scale validation, it was we have 65 participants, 20 autistic students, 20 families, and 25 professionals. And for the expert review and quality validation, we had 10 specialists in autism, special education, and digital accessibility. All of these types of validation meant to evaluate the usability, customization, educational relevance, and cognitive accessibility. And then the final result And what we want to show you today is the Ideal Connect that I think it's Fundación Miradas is going to show you how it works and all the features. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you so much, Miguel. If there's any question at that stage, we can take a couple of few minutes to address them. Otherwise, we will go on to the second panel of the day. Yes, hello.
Excuse me, just a detail. You talked about 5 countries, okay? And I saw in a table that there was France and Belgium. It's France or Belgium?
No, it's Belgium. It's Belgium. Yeah.
Sorry?
It's Belgium. Yeah. Sometimes we talk about France because of the language instead of the of the origin, but it is Belgium. Sorry if I said something differently.
Thank you for this clarification. So we will go on now. Thank you so much again. We will go on now to the second panel about the presentation of the accessible educational online platform for autistic people. And I have the pleasure to welcome Marta Arroyo Balbas from Fundación Miradas in Spain, also in Burgos.
Hello, everyone. I am Marta Arroyo from Fundación Miradas. As it is an honor for me being here in such a wonderful place. And my turn is to show you the platform. It's for that I am going to play a video. And in the video, I will go surfing into the platform to show you the different settings, the different options, and how it looks and how it works. So the first step is go through the platform, www.tools.ideallearning.eu. And in the main page will appear the different settings and the different options. This is the home page with, in which you can see the home, apps, login, sign up at the different language. The platform is available in Czech, in French, in Portuguese, in Serbian, and in Spanish. And the different applications categories: educational, speech and communication, social stories and social skills, functional skills and health promotion, entertainment and leisure time, and social network and general use. There are apps that belong to more than one category, and below the categories, you can find the best apps. Now we are going to see the next screen, the apps section, and this interface allows you to choose in different options. So let's gonna see it. In the search bar, you can put the app of your choice. If you want, if the app is on the platform, it will appear. So I put Leo con Lula, that is an application, and if it is on the platform, it will appear. So in this case, it is Leo con Lula on the platform, and it appears the different settings that we can filter the applications. The next setting is the operating system. There are applications available in Android, iOS, Windows, MacOS, and Linux. You can filter as well the application depending on the device, computer, tablet, and mobile phone. And you can filter as well the applications on the rating from 1 to 5 stars. You can filter as well depending on the price range. There are applications that cost money and other applications that are free. Most of them are free. But you can filter in case that you want to pay or not. The next filter is the area that I already mentioned at the beginning, and you can filter the application depending on the area that you want to improve as an autistic people or as a family of autistic person. So you have the different categories that I already mentioned, and if you click, for example, in speech and communications, it will appear of the applications related with speech and communications or with social stories and social skills. So you can filter with that to try and to improve these skills. You can filter as well depending on the participant profile. If there are profile from autistic person with external support, as a professional, or as a family or relatives. So for example, if I am a family or relative of autistic people, I can click there and it will appear all the applications related to help our families or relatives of autistic people with different functions. Other filter is the language, the speed. The platform is in the language from the partners. You can find applications, for example, in German or in Italian. So you can click in different languages and it will appear all the applications that are available in such languages. So here I click in Spanish, in English and in Italian, and it will appear those applications in those languages. The next filter is the technical mode. There are applications, that are free or not free. If it requires registration and if it requires internet. So as you can see, you can filter, you have many options and many filters to choose the best applications and to choose the application that fits with your preference. So now let's gonna see how it looks when we go and when we sign up the platform. You can register as an user, as an autistic person, or as a family or expert. So now I'm gonna register as an expert or family. So click in sign up, go to the expert and family profile, and you have to complete with the different search bar. Expert, the username, the first name, the last name. It asks you for an email, a password, and confirm the password. This is an example as well, of course. And now we are going to see how it looks when you are into the platform as an expert. Now we have to complete the password. And in this step, if you are from an entity and you want to add your organization, you can select your organization. If the organization is not registered yet, you can do it later. So I'm going to show you later. So you click in register, and now you have an account in this Ideal Connect platform. So this is how it looks, the expert profile. So as you can see, we have here the organization setting. We can register a new organization in case that the organization is not registered yet, or you can choose the organization here if it is registered. Also, you can, let's gonna see now, 1 second, I'm gonna show you to add an organization. So it's the organization name and a brief description about the organization, the website and other links. It is not mandatory, but after that, you should submit. Also, you can add information about you. Here, 1 second. For example, I write, I am Marta, psychologist. This is an example. So you can describe yourself in your profile. And also, you can add an application. So this is the next step. I'm not going to add a new application, but it takes a little bit time. But it is in 4 easy steps. This is the first step, clicking apps, and you have to follow the different steps. But as I already mentioned, I'm going to do it now because I don't have too much time. So the platform allow you to link it, your profile as an expert or as a family, autistic family, with a user. So it's for that you can, in supervised users, in case that you have one supervised users, it will appear. If not, you can register now from your expert account the user. So clicking as a new user and complete with the autistic user information, with the username, the first name, the last name, password, and confirm the password. This is as well an example, but now you are linked to a user, and you can send and you can recommend different applications to work and to practice and to develop different skills. So now the autistic person is into the platform. As you can see, I have one user, but you can have more than one. And I can send now to the user recommendations, applications to work. So now I am going to apps, and I want to assign an app to this user. So now I click, for example, if I want to practice the speech and communication for that user, I click in speech and communication, and I select Tell a Story, for example, this application. I click in Tell a Story and assign to the user. Here in this search bar, if I have more than one user, I have to select the user that I want to send the application, and I can add a message. So this is the user. Yeah, I just have, in this case, one new app to use, and I can select a date for him or her to practice the application. So now we are going to see how looks the user account. So now log out, and let's go to log in with the user account. So we have to complete with the username and the password. And in the main page will appear the applications that the supervisor recommends you, your assigned apps. So in this case, it's just that one, but in case you have more than one application, it will appear in the main page. So now I can click in my account, and the interface is similar than the supervised user with information about you. Here appears the last message with the applications that the professional sent to the user and the supervisor. The users can have more than one supervisor. And in the apps sections appears the applications that the supervisor sent to the user. So, for example, if I practice with this application, I click in Done, and in the supervisor emails will appear that this user make the task. And by last, the platform has accessibility menu that you can see there, with different options: contrast, has light links, text, space, text spacing, pause animation, hide image, dyslexia filter, cursor, tones, lane height, text align, and saturation. So as you can see, you have many options depending on your needs, depending on your situation, to try the platform and to surf the platform. And also, the platform has a virtual assistant in case that you need help with something related with the app. So this is all by my side. I hope that you like it, and in case that you want to try the platform, you are really welcome to do it. And thank you very much for attending.
Thank you very much, Marta, for this very concrete presentation that gives really a good insight into the features of the platform. Is there maybe any questions for Marta before she disappears?
Yeah.
it may not be just for Marta, and I apologize for my ignorance. You may also choose to reply at the end. So can anybody use this application?
Yeah.
Any-
Yeah, it's available for everybody. Yeah. So maybe you are not an autistic people, but you have another disability, or you want to improve your speech and communication skills, you can go through the platform, see the applications available, for example, in these skills, and try with them.
Yeah, I meant, I'm actually a mother of an autistic person, but I meant, yes, there's no special access or paid, or you have to belong to an organization.
No. It's free. It's for free because the European Commission, in this kind of projects, you have all the results has to be open. So this is free for everyone, so you can use it.
Okay, I have two more questions that could be answered at the end, but I can ask them already. Maybe is whether you plan to have any cooperation to expand the usage and to have it in other languages as well, and also whether even with your existing group, you plan to keep updating, adding applications, and so on. And how you will, sorry, that's a third question, but how you intend to make it known that this exists and get a lot of education bodies using it and make it known and used widely. Thank you.
Maybe I can answer now. If I forget something, please help me. The platform is available in the project language, that is Spanish, French, Portuguese, Czech, and Serbian, and English. So these are the language of the platform. As I already told you, there are maybe you have, if you know a little bit about this language, you can now, and you can filter, for example, if you need to improve your speech and communication, you can click and more or less knows the applications, because as I already told as well, there are applications in different languages such German or Italian, but the platform is in this language. Regarding with the maintenance of the platform, for sure it will be the next 5 years. So we will try to keep the platform with news, with how to say, updates. Sorry, yeah, with updates, and we will add new apps. So it will be quite main date. Yeah. There were another question. About the sustainability and of the platform. We will make all the partners have to make different actions during these 5 years to promote the platform. So we have been planned different actions during these years to promote and to keep the platform alive.
Thank you so much again, Marta. So we will now proceed with the third panel, and I would like to call our partners Sunticha, Martina, and David to come to the front to share their perspective, their experience when conducting the project, and what kind of feedback they got when implementing the project at their national level and with their group. So welcome, and I will give the floor to Sunticha, and I will tell the name of your foundation in English, 1000 Switch Foundation from Serbia, and so the floor is yours.
So thank you everyone for joining us to share the beautiful outcome of our 3-year work. We discussed for a day and a half, and we are very proud of what we've done and eager to share it with the wider target group. On behalf of 1,000 Wishes Foundation, I will tell you a little bit about the collaborative aspect of the platform and also the impact on different target groups, because our foundation was established by family members, a group of family members. So in the foundation and in the project consortium, we believe that only the partnership between the professionals and the families can give the best results in improving autistic individual lives. And the platform we built over these 3 last years is not only a pile of collected apps, but a collaborative space to share digital tools which are adapted to each individual needs and interests. If we speak about the impact on professionals and educators, we can talk about the access to curated resources, because professionals now have a centralized hub of specialized apps, which saves them time in finding appropriate digital tools. Then the personalized learning, they can tailor educational experiences to individual students' needs using the apps, which are designed for different skills levels and different support needs. Then we have enhanced teaching strategies. The platform offers insights, recommendations, and best practices, which help the educators to implement effective teaching methodologies. And of course, we have some sort of progress tracking and collaboration, which you saw Marta demonstrated you. So the professional profile actually enables the professionals to share digital tools with students and with their families and support in monitoring their progress. And equally, they can communicate and recommend different applications to their colleagues. If we talk about the impact the platform usage can have on the families, it's very significant, but I will mention a few. So first of all, it offers them guidance and support, because parents can gain easy access to vetted learning tools, reducing the overwhelm of searching for the right apps online. In these days, it's very difficult to search and to find evidence-based approaches which are the right for your child. So this is a huge help. Then we have improved home learning. The platform helps parents to reinforce learning at home, ensuring continuity between school and home environments. Also, by understanding available resources, parents can take a more active role in their child's development and learning journey, either by themselves or in collaboration with the professionals, which gives them some sort of empowerment. And then we have, of course, community and knowledge sharing. The platform actually fosters a support network where parents can share experiences, reviews, and some success stories via instant message option, which you also had the opportunity to see. Last but not the least, if we talk about the impact on autistic learners and individuals, they also have the possibility of tailored learning experience. So a repository of diverse apps which ensures access to tools that match different learning styles, different sensory needs, and communication preferences. We have increased independence, fostering increased independence. The diversity of apps we've chosen, because there is 118 of them, they support self-paced learning, communication, and daily life skills, and they foster autonomy. We have the increase of engagement and motivation, because interactive and so-called gamified learning experiences can make education more enjoyable and effective. And of course, the comprehensive impact on the skill development, from communication aids to social skill training, depending on the category of the app. The platform can support learning and cognitive, social, and motor skill development. So if I have to say it in a single sentence, I would say that the platform actually bridges the gap between the educators, parents, and autistic individuals, and creates a more inclusive and effective learning ecosystem. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martina Rentnerova, and I'm here from the Czech Republic for an organization called Tady to mám rád. And we, as an organization, we provide a group home for 6 adults with autism with high support needs. And the name Tady to mám rád, it actually means I like it here, because our philosophy is to provide services where people can feel safe, respected and welcomed. So that's where the name comes from. And it took us 12 years to build it and to convince a lot of people. And we met a lot of people on the way, cooperating with teachers, with professionals, other organizations, and local government. And we find a long life education as a key aspect when giving support to people with autism. Therefore, even we are like really a small community service for 6 people. We have a teacher focusing on special education needs in our team, and she's working with our clients on alternative communication, and she's giving them the special support they need in the educational field. That's why we are really happy to be part of the IDEAL project, because the digital education has a significant role in this digital century. Like, we can't avoid it anymore. And we can see in our clients, they really like to use especially tablets or mobile phones. So we found that we were missing a tool that could help them to find the application that are suitable for them and ease the communication with the professionals. And I will actually repeat some of the benefits Slončica already said. Yeah. Because when we organized the multiplier event in the Czech Republic with 50 attendants, they actually find the most beneficial that there's the storage of the platform enables you to find the applications you need just by sorting the different options, and that these applications are already tested and recommended, and also that the platform is open so the professionals can add new application with the comment or recommendation. So it's a great space to share opinions, share and help each other actually in the digital education. So yeah. And the last thing from me is that because the multiplier event was a great success, we started to get in touch with the university and the special school for autistic children in Brno, my home city. It's the biggest school in the Czech Republic and one of the it's actually the first specific school in the Czech Republic. And we will have a meeting with their IT team, and there was a question about how to spread the information. I think this is a really great opportunity and a channel that they will spread the information through the university for teachers specializing in autism. And we'll do our best to go along the way the next 5 years, communicating with other organizations and teachers to use the platform. And what I always say is just don't be afraid to use it, to try it, because that's what it's all about. Like, if we won't use it, it doesn't work. If we all use it, it will be great success.
Now it's my turn. I'm David Rodriguez from Candes Game Studios. We are a company, a Spanish company, that we focus on video game development, but we also do another things like platform like this. And I'm kind of the bit different because my background is more of an IT background, and I'm the technological guy. So during this period, working and collaborating with the team, I managed to learn a lot because despite my colleagues that know more about autism and about psychology and this kind of stuff, I'm more practical, and I try to make things work to anyone. But I learned a lot about specifically about the autism and about the spectrum of this autism. And it's not about for an IT guy like me, it's not about making like a few things in a platform or in a video game or in an application. It's like taking care about who is going to use the application or the tool or whatever. And it's quite simple. You just need to think about different perspectives and have those in mind, because it's not as hard as other other IT guys might have in mind. It's quite simple to address or to put accessibility features in a platform or even in a video game. So the only thing that is important is to think actually when you are developing a platform or anything that requires technological knowledge, you need to think about who is going to use the tool or the platform. And even if you take into account all the spectrum of people with autism or people with other disabilities or any kind of special needs, you are going to win in both stages on in both sides, because you are going to have access to a wider public. You cannot let some people aside from using applications because they are users and valuable, very valuable users. So it's just something that, from my perspective, from my technological perspective, is quite important. Also, as they have already mentioned, the ability to we have managed to integrate into one single place a lot of information and access to different applications. When we were populating the platform with more than 100 applications, we were struggling, even us, that we are kind of experts in searching over the internet and scrapping web pages and gathering a lot of information from all the web. Even with all our knowledge, it was quite stressed and quite hard to reach some information for some specific applications that has a lot of value. So all this work has been done, and it's really important to I think it was a really great success that we managed to gather a lot of information inside one specific place, and all this information is available for everyone. So I think this is one of the most wonderful things that we have done with this project.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, Suchicha, and for all your insight into the platform, as well as Martina. So thank you for joining us. Is there any question for our three speakers on their experience on? No? I think they were all really clear, so thank you very much, and we will have maybe a little bit more time during the final panel to exchange a bit more later. So indeed, I'm very glad to welcome our guest panelists today, who will share their perspective on the issue of digital learning and how to progress in this area. So today we are welcoming indeed William Scholz from the Flemish Ministry of Education, from who's working on the project Empowered Ed, Veronica Arduino with project and policy coordinator at the Lifelong Learning Platform. David Mekawi, who's the Chief Executive Officer of All Digital. And then we keep with us Sunchicha, and I will call back Miguel to complete the panel. Thank you all of you, because I know you're all quite busy, and it's a Friday afternoon, so we are particularly grateful for your presence and inputs. So we will now we have had some thoughts about the dimension we would like you to provide feedback on, and I would like to start maybe with Willem to share his insight regarding how can edtech companies ensure that they develop technology that actually works for people, and because that's really at the core of the project.
Well, I already liked what David from Katniss said in the earlier discussion. I think it's very important to know from the start, when you're developing technology, who will your users be in the end, and to be inclusive from the start. At Empower Red, we are trying to stimulate collaboration between tech developers, but also educational institutions, policymakers, and researchers. And there we see it that in general, but especially for kids with special needs, it's very important that developers know from the start who they are working for, not only focusing on the commercial aspect of their solution and trying to sell something, but also make something that really has an added value.
Absolutely. And following up on that, maybe you can tell us how can we create actually an ecosystem at the European, national, and regional level to really support collaboration between these various stakeholders, between technology developers, education, research, and policymakers? What is your experience, maybe also based on your project?
That's a big challenge, of course. It's the big dream that to create this kind of community where everyone works together to create this kind of ecosystem. What we are trying in Empower, well, first we took the time to take a step back and look at the ecosystems that already exist, and what we could learn from that. I think what's really important is to find a way or an opportunity to let everybody talk to each other. Especially the world of education and the world of tech are two very different worlds. And you see that they speak different languages. It's all very different cultures. But once you put them together in a room and make them talk about things, you actually get somewhere. So that's what we are trying on different levels. We do it on European events with people from the Commission and the big companies, but also on a very local level. Like a few weeks ago, we had a small discussion in Leuven, a city not very far from here, where we had local companies, local schools, local policymakers, and it works on every level. But when you make them realize that actually they are all working to make learning better and to get to better results with the kids who are learning. Yeah.
Thank you, Willem. And also, can you share actually with us already concrete initiatives that support development of technology that helps to make education more inclusive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can tell you about my favorite story. It's something very concrete. What we have in Flanders is a project called Smart Education at Schools. And in Smart Education at Schools, we try to bring this theory into practice. We really put schools and companies together to develop new solutions. And it always starts from the idea of a teacher who tells us, I have a certain need and I think I have the solution for it, but I need a company to build this solution. And in this case, the idea came from a gardening and agricultural school, which has a special needs department. And the teacher told us, well, what I need to do, I need to teach my kids how to cut hedges. And the idea is that we have real hedges and we use edge cutters and we try them to learn to cut these hedges, but we never have enough hedges to learn every kid how to cut them. And especially kids with special needs, where it might take a little bit more time and they need several tries to do it, it doesn't work when we do it for real from the first time. And she dreamed of a virtual reality application, which would learn the kids how to cut hedges. But then she said, well, when you do it with like these typical VR handlers, it has nothing to do with a real cutting machine, a hedge trimmer, because it feels completely different. It's very light and it's very flexible, while a real trimmer is heavy and quite impressive. So what she's doing now, we linked her to a company, and this company is developing fake trimmers with a built-in VR application to teach these kids how to trim the hedges. And I think those kinds of examples is so wonderful. And what the result that I like the most of it is that the company that starts from a commercial point of view, they're like, I'm not sure this is interesting, but okay, there's funding, so we'll do it. They get really passionate about it, and they start to feel that kids with special needs are a great audience to work for, and they get really enthusiastic and they get into the project really, really with all their heart, and that's what I love to see happening.
Thank you, Willem, for sharing this initiative. Indeed, we can feel the passion, and it's really nice. So I'm wondering whether you have any feedback on the ideal project as well, and what are your thoughts about the output and maybe potentially the sustainability of it.
I have to say I got quite excited this afternoon especially when I saw the platform. In EmpowerEd, when we talk to schools, they say one of the biggest challenges is to find the right tools, especially those who work with a special audience. So when I see a platform like this, I think, oh, every school needs to be aware of this, because this will be such a great help. And from the point of view of from Flanders, I think if we can just add a Dutch version of it, Flemish schools would be very happy as well. But from the viewpoint of EmpowerEd, I think great idea. Let's promote this because this really answers to a very big need in schools.
Thank you again. Then I will pass the floor to Veronica Arduino. And thank you for joining us. Maybe you want to introduce a bit the lifelong learning platform and tell us a bit more about your activities first.
Yes, so the lifelong learning platform, it's a big network of organizations working on education and training at different levels. So our members work on non-formal, formal, and informal education, all digital, represented here. It's one of our members. And among our members, we have a network of schools. So our members base from the early childhood education until the adult education. And this is the strength of the network, because we work a lot on transversal topics that are important for all sectors of education. And then we work a lot also on synergies and interconnection among those sectors. And then most of all, our main activity is advocacy at European level. And for that, we voice the priorities of all our members and their members, and we touch about 60,000 people, because so all our members have their national members, and so we are talking about a huge learning community and a lot of teachers, learners, and educators all over Europe.
Thank you, Veronica. And you mentioned advocacy. It's also at the core of Autism Europe activities, and we would like to hear your views. Maybe how can the EU actually ensure greater access to digital tools that meet diverse learning needs, in particular persons with disabilities, autistic persons, but the wider public as well. So.
Yes. So you asked me to talk about the Digital Education Action Plan, that it's one of the tools that the European Union has to facilitate the learning of digital skill and the digital transition in member states. I won't talk in depth about that because I don't know it very well. It's one of my colleagues that it's in charge of it. But for what I saw, so now we are doing the midterm review. And I think that a part that it's a little bit missing, it's talking about inclusion. It's really mainstreaming the inclusion in all the action. So in all the action, just one mention inclusion is the one about school. And it's not so, it could be stronger. The focus on inclusion can be stronger. And then LLP had an input paper on the review of the digital action plan that maybe we can send it later. Something that also we really encourage is the synergies with the different stakeholders, and so getting in so into consideration in the review the point of view of the different stakeholders that are involved in digital education in all sector again of learning. There is also a focus, a lot of action in the planner about school education, and as a platform working on transversal in all sector, we would like to see more about other sector of education, including non-formal education, adult education. Because I think that in general, in digital transition and digital skills, there is a lot of opportunities for inclusion. We mentioned them during the conference today. So when we talk about customize, the possibility to customize the learning, to have it learner-centered. So there are all opportunities really to tailor better the different educational resources and approaches to the needs of different kind of people, including people with disabilities.
If you don't mind me jumping on the education action plan, I think it's actually a good basis on different aspects. It's basically referring to different standards of education, certification of education. It also explored a bit and paved the way for AI in education, putting some norms on the ethics of that. I think what is missing is going from giving some ideas and inspiration to making it compulsory. Like inclusion in digital education is seen as being something which is recommended, but it should be really a minimum compulsory for any EU funding. So that's what I would add into the plan. That's what we are trying to preach for, with your help, of course. But I would go that far, basically.
Thank you to both of you, and we might come back to some policy issues later, indeed. But for now, I would like Veronica to ask you if you have any initiative in the field that you would like to share with us, yeah.
Yeah, so actually inclusion is one of, we just, our organization just approved the advocacy strategy for the next years, and inclusion is one of the 5 priority of that plan. So it's really, really important for us. And we have different initiative on inclusion. One that it's, I think important to me is that one, that it's an European project, and I have some flyers with me that I can distribute later. And it was a capacity building program about inclusion for learning provider and civil society organization, really thinking about that transversal approach that we have on different sectors. So we try to create a training that could be interesting for different people in the school, so different people with different role, because we think that it's important to have a whole institution, whole school, whole society approach. So it's everybody in a school, in educational environment is committed with the inclusion strategy, and they have some knowledge and some practical tools on how to include learners from with different needs. But then it will be really transversal, and it will be something that it's really effective, and will be also an example, and they will act as multiplier for inclusion in their communities. So it's a training, it's a we had different activities, some training last year, but then the project just ended, and we have an online platform. So we still have that self-paced training that focus on 3 main area, and one of those, it was digital inclusion, did by All Digital, because they were one of the partner in the project. So we have that 3 modules about digital inclusion that touch upon everything that we talk about today. So how, for example, we were talking about universal design, how to create a product, an app that it's that take into consideration
the accessibility for different kind of people. But then on a smaller scale, it is also interesting for a teacher at school now how a Word document can be inclusive for people with visual impairment, for example. And then thinking about the civil society organization working on inclusion, it's also about how to adapt your website and your educational resources, etc., to be accessible for different kind of people. And I stopped talking, sorry.
Not at all. It's great again to see passion and enthusiasm. We are very lucky with the panelists, with two of you. So the project just concluded. And could you maybe share with us your main recommendations that came up in the context of the project?
The main recommendation, so the main reflection, because we didn't really have a part about policy recommendation, it was really focused on capacity building, but then we did have some focus group with educators and learners to create the tools. I think the first one is really mainstream and giving all the educational providers and the people working in the educational sector in general, the tools and the knowledge about inclusion, because if not, otherwise it can be very different from a school to the other. So depending on the willingness of the teachers or the director, we can have a lot of discrepancies, and schools that are more accessible and more inclusive and others that are not, schools or other learning environments. And in member state, we can have a lot of differences as well, because until when we don't have a clear direction and impulsion at a political level, this is a challenge. People working in education need more time and more economical resources to be trained, because, for example, in our training we had a lot of educators, teachers that we were doing that on the top of their task, because they don't have time and they don't have the possibility to train themselves on inclusion and access within their working hours. And then to have that whole school, whole educational community approach, because again, if the teaching staff, it's really inclusive, but then you have somebody at the administrative, with administrative role, that is maybe the first person that the families meet when they access the school or the adult, the VT sector, so institution, etc. But then it miss a little bit the purpose, because I mean, everybody, all the people, all the staff involved in the educational institution should be committed on being more inclusive.
Thank you, Veronica. That's actually one of the findings that comes back also for Autism Europe, that you need really a transversal approach for everyone to be on board. Maybe I would like to come back a little bit to Willem, because I realized I didn't quite give him the opportunity to also share potentially recommendations that your project Empower Aid came up with. So if you want to share with us maybe some key learnings also.
Well, to keep it short, I think the message that we're trying to spread now, that is, if you develop policy, and on any level, I mean, as a government, but also very local, or even in a school, you need to work on 4 pillars. And the first one is vision. You need a common vision and to know what you're aiming for. Second one is infrastructure. In case of digital education, the first thing we think about is devices, but also a good network connection and things like that. And then a very important one, I just heard about it, is of course training. You can give the teachers the best of materials, but if they don't know how to use it and what to do with it, it's useless. And also the right learning materials. And there you provided a great answer, at least to where to find them. So I was really happy to see your platform. Yeah.
Thank you, Willem. Now I'd like to give the floor to David, maybe to present your organization, All Digital.
Thank you. So Maybe a quick word about myself, and that will help understand what is all digital. So I've been CEO of Euractiv for the last 7 years, and when I sold Euractiv, I basically thought about the digital transformation of the world that is going more and more. And thinking of that, we obviously have to think about all the people that are not in this digital society. Currently, there's 44% of European citizens which are missing, lacking digital skills, the basic digital skills, and therefore they are missing on everything which is about administration, which is online, news, which is online, that's my background, but also all the other activities, and therefore the labor market as well for most of them. And so that's really what all digital is focusing on, is trying to kind of unite Europe, kind of work on this gap, digital gap that we see more and more. And as the society is becoming more and more digital, well, we need even more digital training and even more to help everybody to kind of progress at the same pace, at the same level. And so that's kind of thing that we are focusing on. We are a network of more than 100 members, competence centers around Europe. We are learning a lot from each of them, and we are basically sharing the knowledge with each of them, plus having kind of a foot in Brussels to help in advocacy, in changing a bit the policies, to make the policies in Europe at the European level more friendly with digital inclusion.
Thank you, David. And maybe you can tell us how you ensure that digital skills training precisely remain inclusive and accessible for persons with disabilities. Is it a target group of your organization as well in your advocacy? And well, maybe even autistic people, if you have some insights to share with us.
It is definitely one of our core focus. If I had the answer, perfect answer to that question, I would be happy. The reality is that I don't. I mean, as we are working with a range of different type of learners, we're obviously learning a lot of things from our different members. We're kind of sharing that learning. What we find very quickly is that it's not about using a computer. For most of the time, that is not the obstacle. The obstacle is about comfort, is about confidence on having a mobile phone in your hand, having a laptop in your hand. That's really where typically we have issues, and that's really where the different competence centers we're working with are having challenges and facing challenges on how to give that confidence. And so what we are doing is obviously to be able to kind of talk with different members and try to kind of put ourselves together to share best practices. And this kind of project, like the Ideal project, we're having a range of projects as well in which we're involved, in which our members are involved, are helping us basically try different aspects, try different protocols, and understand which ones are the ones that works the best. And therefore, our job is to share them and distribute them to the maximum of people on your side and other side as well, so that we make sure that when we find something that is really efficient, then we kind of really make sure that everybody can benefit from it. And that is sometimes a bit the challenge, is this dissemination of the right information, of the best practices that we have.
Thank you, David. And is there any digital solution in particular that you think are particularly promising in terms of training and inclusive education? You spoke about disseminating good practices. So have you identified some?
When we talk about new technologies, yeah, I mean, who would have thought that AI could help autistic people to learn emotions? I mean, that's quite impressive. So I would probably, I would list 3 of them. AI, definitely, because it can really help put in practice things. It can help kind of pass the barrier of this interface, this online interface. I would associate with that the second one, speech to text and text to speech, which is really helpful to kind of be able to go from what you know, which is to express yourself, whatever the way you're expressing yourself, to talking to the computer. And I would add, also based on the example of Willem, VR and AR, augmented reality and virtual reality. I mean, that enables all learners, and especially the ones that are processing information in different ways, including autistic learners, to be able to test and practice in a safe environment what they would have to test in the reality, which is obviously much more unpredictable. And so here we can try to start with kind of an environment which is safe. So that is the kind of things that we have seen in our different projects. I'd say that the criteria for me for technology that would be really helpful is a technology which is affordable. It has to be, that is scalable, and is some that are kind of so niche, so complex that you would never be able to kind of use it at a large level. So we can invest a lot of money on that, but that will never be really helpful for European citizens. And one which is basically user-centric, where you as a user feels that the technology has been designed for you. And we've seen that in Ideal as well, that you wanted to have the platform to be done for autistic users, and that was really a solution. All technology that is user-centric would probably be a good one.
Thank you so much, David. Now we are going to come back a bit to the project, and I would like to invite Sunčića to share our perspective based on our experience in Serbia about the challenges in implementing digital learning solutions for autistic learners. Can you elaborate maybe a little bit on that?
Yeah, I don't know how much can I say specifically about Serbia, because doing what I'm doing for many, many years, I realized that we all share the same challenges and we all need the same support. So I will give a little bit of a wider answer, and probably some of you will be able to recognize them. So I would say that some of the key challenges in the implementation are trusted sources. We live in a hyper-digital era, but as much as we have the availability of different sources and information, it was never harder to trust many of them. So I would say that people need trusted sources to hear from someone. Then I would say limited resources, because the platform is not enough by itself. The learners and their families and also professionals, they need to have a media, so either a laptop or a tablet or something that actually costs real money, and many are underprivileged. Then, of course, the training to use the digital tools, not only the platform, but the various digital tools, which was also one of the focus of our project, to offer simple video tutorials on how to use the platform. And I would say that if we are creating something, we should be listening very carefully to our users and the target groups, and not only ourselves. Because I remember last year in the first testing of the platform, I was thinking to myself, I don't know, this just seems too simple. Maybe we can offer more functionalities and more of this and more of that and more. And then actually when we tested the platform with the 50 professionals, the beginning of this month, majority of them shared the feedback that it's very simple and intuitive, and that was one of the biggest strengths actually of the tools. So I would say, yes, the challenges are sources, resources, training, and sometimes the input that we as a creators of the tools, sometimes we can just overcomplicate stuff. So that's it.
Thank you, Sunčića. And you mentioned trust. In your view, how can we encourage precisely this trust in digital learning, in new technologies for autistic persons and their families?
So yeah, the trust is a very strong bond, and I think that we need to search for strong links, which are the service providers. They can sometimes go and help us reach the families. We need to educate advocates. We need to be a big advocate for the trust, and we actually need to build a community of trusted people that then will just spread the word about the usability and the effectiveness of such a tool.
Thank you. You also mentioned, in fact, the need to listen to the users, and how maybe as your personal perspective as a sibling of an autistic person shaped a bit your approach of the project. Do you want to share a little bit of that with us?
Yes. So I'm a sister of a 46-year-old autistic man. And what I've discovered during, well, all these years is actually the spectrum, autism is a spectrum, and not all the needs can be covered by a simple tool or a single tool. So we need to think outside of the box, but also we need to believe in a lifelong learning, because it is a thing, and this is something that my brother actually taught me. We do not need, we mustn't perceive autistic community only as children, and we must believe in adult autistic people learning, and we should also address them. And I think also that over the years, by piloting different tools and different education trainings, I have seen a big need for informal learning by the educators. And I think this is our big opportunity that we should use, because the system is not supporting them enough. And we, as a link between the users and educators, should be the advocates, both the needs and the possibilities.
Thank you very much. And I think now, to conclude this panel, I would like to give the floor again to our coordinator, to Miguel. 3 years after the beginning of the project, as we are about to close the project, what are for you the key learning that you take away from this endeavor, from IDEAL?
Well, okay. Well, I think that after all the work, what we have to highlight is coming from the learning activity, where we were the possibility to work with people with autism on the site, on the field, and it was something absolutely amazing, because we can get that they are eager to participate in the society, in the community, and it was something absolutely amazing, because they were so stressful at the beginning, and it wasn't because of their comfort or their needs or whatever. It was just because they wanted to be up to scratch to help us to improve the platform, and it was something absolutely remarkable. Because they are eager to participate and to feel they are useful for the rest, for their peers, for their partners, and also for the whole population. And it was something absolutely amazing, because of course they are about to practice, and they are absolutely willing to participate, of course, in the learning adaptation also, because this is a part of the society that they have to participate if we want to put the focus on the full participation of this kind of population. So I think we are a little bit some steps behind. They're willing, and of course their strength and their power to make a better world for all people.
Thank you, Miguel, for reminding us about the importance again about co-production and involving, of course, the final users. And what would be for the future your wishes for IDEAL, for this kind of digital learning? Can you share with us some perspective?
Yeah, well, my wish is to be more natural and more close to the autistic world, because when we are working on autism, we are really working on the whole world. And if we can make something more accessible for autism, we are making something more accessible for everyone. As Sunchicha said, it is a spectrum, so all tools and resources must be really, really flexible to adapt every kind of circumstances. So when you are adapting some text to be more accessible, everybody is going to be with a text that is going to be more accessible. So we are going to use that. And it is absolutely great to have a reference, because it doesn't happen with all collectives or all target groups, but it is something specific for autism. And I think it's a reference point to try to improve absolutely everything. So this platform maybe can offer some resource that could be more useful or less depending on the context, but of course it's something that has been made with a very accurate methodology. And I think it could be an example. So how we can develop another resources, and also we have something that we can share with any kind of resource, digital resource, and I think this is the strength of the platform, and we hope to be useful for the rest of the people. So we are going to be always available for participating and also for sharing our knowledge with that. So we have the website somewhere. It's idealearning.eu, so it's very, very easy. But of course, I think this is the main strength of the application. Yeah.
Thank you, Miguel. It brings us to the end of the panel, but I would like to know whether there is any questions, of course, from the audience to the panelists.
Maybe I want to add one more thing, which is all the things that you have described as you found out in this great project, Ideal, and all the things that we are discovering at All Digital for different type of learners, they're actually most of them applicable for everybody. Like we all want to have, I mean, platforms, tools those days are quite overwhelming for everybody. And we have a tendency to assume digital literacy. When we take new people in the company, we assume that they know everything about Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Canvas, whatever, you name it, which is not always the case. And so we are spending a lot of time in trying to understand something that is assumed to be understood already, but that is not understood. And I think that if all platforms were more simple, less buttons, less distraction, just focus on what you really need, I think that would not only help the autist people and autist learners, but actually all of us.
Absolutely universal design again. So yeah, that's something we want to spread. Thank you again. Is there any last comments or remarks that you would like to share?
I would like actually to finish with we are talking about collaboration and the simplicity, and actually the ICT is one of the, if not the most fast changing industry or technology, or call it as like you want. But we did something for 3 years, and then, you know, there is always a chance that it will be outdated very quickly. So I just want to repeat that within the next 5 years, we are also going to dedicate our time and our effort to expand and to update the platform. And there is an email which is available for any user on the platform, whether it's an educator or a parent, who is free and welcome to recommend an app, which we will then validate, and we will put it on the platform. So for the next 5 years, we are also there for the platform.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for joining us today. It was a very interesting exchange, and we hope to cooperate, to continue cooperating in the future. Congratulations on all these initiatives. I would like to thank also all the participants today, our colleagues from Ideal who all came from all over Europe. I would like to thank IFA for organizing the event, and all my colleagues who supported the organization at Autism Europe. We will circulate the presentation. We will circulate a little report also about the event. So we look forward to keeping in touch with all of you, and we'll stay a little bit in the room if any one of you wants to chat for a few minutes after the event. Thank you for being with us today, and I wish you a very nice weekend and a good trip back to colleagues who are traveling back. Thank you.